Hi, welcome. I'm Dr. Scott Anson. I'm the Department Chair of Mechanical Engineering. I really appreciate you taking some time to spend some time with us, check out these videos and hear about what we do. I'm going to tell you some of the things that attract me to LeTourneau, but more importantly, the things that I hear attract students to come here and they really benefit from when they leave. And so our mechanical engineering degree is very broad. We can prepare you, mechanical engineering is fundamentally the most broadly applicable engineering discipline. And so we've placed people everywhere from aerospace, oil and gas, automotive, automation, biomedical. I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out that interests you. We've got people at John Deere, Harley Davidson, Boeing. It goes on, very broad. Some of the things that are unique about our degree and that make us your experience at LeTourneau unique are you have faculty who really want to teach at an undergrad level. And so they're here and they want to teach. Not only do they want to teach, but they want to teach in a Christian context. And so what does that mean? Classes often open with a word of prayer or a devotion. Someone will open scripture and it's usually the faculty member, but it may be the students at time. And if that's something you're excited about, you could get a chance to do that. Some other things that make it unique. We're hands-on. First semester, you do hands-on projects. We don't want you to be a purely theoretical engineer who can think about anything and sort of do nothing, right? Engineering is the application of math and science to solve problems, right? Hands-on is where the problems get solved. And so it's hands-on in the education, and we are ABET accredited. So ABET is the people that make sure when we teach you engineering, it's not equipment repair or equipment operation. It's actually design, build, test, right? So it's fundamental engineering. We're the first ABET accredited Christian program in the nation. Our accreditation goes back to the 70s and our experience in technical education goes back to 1946. The faculty that are called here are called to teach in this Christian context, and we have a class called Cornerstones. Cornerstones, we give you two books. We give you a copy of R.G.'s Mover of Men and Mountains, and we give you a book called Thriving at College. And this is all the skills that sometimes people come to college and they think they've got them under control, but they don't. It could be time management. It could be as simple as evaluating friendships and how they could or might not be helpful to you. And so that's covered in that class. But what really happens is this is where you get to meet your academic advisor. It's a faculty member in mechanical engineering who becomes your advisor for the next 4 years. And so that's probably the biggest takeaway. The other thing that happens there is you get to be in a class with 10 to 16 other mechanical engineering freshmen who just showed up and don't know who's who and what's what and what they need to figure out, but you figure it out together. And also, there's a peer advisor in there, which is a successful student, right? Somebody who's navigated their freshman year well. They might be a senior, they might be a sophomore. Give you a little bit more background. Our placement rate, 98% placement rate. Engineering is too challenging to not turn into a good result, right? And I don't want to scare you by saying it's challenging, but you know that, right? No one studied engineering because it was easy or because it seemed like a really relaxing way to get an education, right? You have to know it and it has to work. And it's stuff that you don't learn by life experience. You have to learn the methods and the approaches from the coursework. But our placement rate, 98%. So at the end of this process, right, there's this really important thing called a job. And so you can work our mechanical engineering starting salaries in East Texas in this context. So $65,000, $70,000 a year, that type of number. Obviously, if you're in Houston or if you're in California, we don't just pull people from East Texas. One of the neat things about LeTourneau is the breadth of students who come here. You will sit in a class with people from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Chicago, California, and the commonality of an interest in a Christian education draws all this diversity together. And then there'll be this surprise. There'll be somebody who sits there and they look like an American, but they kind of act a little different, and you realize they grew up as a missionary kid. So they didn't grow up in this culture, and they're there. And so you get this great breadth, plus all our international students. We've got a 4+1 grad program, so if you come and you're really switched on, you're very ambitious, you really focus on your education, after your sophomore year, you can apply for early admission to grad school. And then in 1 extra year, you can finish a master's degree. And so a lot of our students have chosen that track. You don't need to decide it until after your sophomore year. We have had a number of students that are placed in aerospace jobs. We get this question about, why doesn't LeTourneau offer aerospace engineering? You have aviation and you have mechanical engineering. Why we don't do it is because if you get an aerospace job and it's thriving, you think it's the greatest thing ever and everybody's silly. If you get an aerospace degree and the aerospace industry is not thriving, it goes with the economic cycles because it's very expensive equipment, you feel misled and you don't get a job. If you get a mechanical engineering degree, you can work for aerospace or automotive or motorcycles, or we've got a student who works for Sight and Sound doing stage rigging for biblical productions in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And so that mechanical engineering degree is very broadly applicable. So what we do is we put a focus within it, for those that want it, on aerospace, so they can get a couple of extra classes with a more aviation or aerospace related emphasis. I really look forward to showing you more of the labs and things that we have going on. If you get a chance to come visit us at campus, please come see me, shake my hand, say hello.